We are going to see the muscles of the back. The entire back muscles are arranged in three groups: superficial, intermediate, and deep. The superficial group acts on upper limb and includes this large muscle, the trapezius, then this large muscle, the latissimus dorsi, then the muscle over this region which elevates the scapula, that is the levator scapulae. Then you can see the cut sections of one muscle and another muscle over here, that is the rhomboids major and minor. These five muscles form the superficial group of the back. Then the intermediate group comes. The intermediate group is respiratory in action and comprises of serratus, posterior, inferior. These are the muscles: serratus, posterior, inferior. Then here, deep to the rhomboids major and minor, you have the serratus posterior, superior. These two muscles form the intermediate group of the back muscles, and superficial and intermediate group are supplied by the ventral rami of spinal nerves. Now we are going to see the deep muscles, deep group of muscles. The deep group forms the intrinsic muscles of the back and is supplied by the dorsal rami of spinal nerves. It consists of splenius capitis and splenius cervicis, both to lie over this region. Then other longitudinal muscles, mainly the erector spinae. We will look into the different parts later. They extend from the sacrum towards the skull. Other muscles lie deep to the erector spinae. They are the oblique muscles, that is transversospinalis, and other deep muscles, that is interspinalis, intertransversi, and suboccipital muscles. We will now look into the erector spinae. The erector spinae or sacrospinalis is an elongated column of muscle and extends from sacrum to the skull. It lies deep to the posterior layer of thoracolumbar fascia in the lumbosacral region. Serratus posterior, inferior, and superior in the thoracic region, and overlapped by the splenius muscles in the neck. It takes origin from the lower two thoracic and lumbar spines, from the median and lateral sacral crest, and from the inner part of the dorsal segment of the iliac crest, and from the adjoining ligaments. And close to the last rib, the erector spinae divides into three columns, mainly the iliocostalis, the longissimus, and the spinalis. The iliocostalis, that is the lateral column of erector spinae, they consist of three successive parts from lateral to medial side, that is iliocostalis lumborum and iliocostalis thoracis and iliocostalis cervicis over this region. The intermediate column, the longissimus, that also comprises of similarly three parts from lateral to medial, that is longissimus thoracis and longissimus cervicis, then longissimus capitis over this region. The longissimus is the only column of erector spinae that gains direct attachment to the skull. Next is the spinalis part of the erector spinae, that is the medialmost column of erector spinae and extends from the upper lumbar region to the lower cervical spines. Its upper part is blended with the semispinalis capitis. That was all about erector spinae. Now we are going to see about the second group of deep group of muscles of the back, that is transversospinalis. They lie under cover of the erector spinae and consist of a number of oblique muscles which extend upward and medially from the transverse process to the spines. The transversus spinalis is arranged in three layers from outer to inner side or superficial to deep side. That is, first one semispinalis, then multifidus and rotatorus. We will see one by one. First, we will see about the semispinalis. It is so named because it occupies the upper half of the vertebral column. Now, it consists of three parts: thoracis, cervicis and capitis. The semispinalis thoracis extends from the transverse process of the lower thoracic vertebrae to the spinous process of the upper thoracic and lower cervical vertebrae around this region. Lower thoracic vertebrae to upper thoracic and lower cervical spines. The semispinalis cervicis that lies deep to the semispinalis capitis, and they arise from the transverse process of lower cervical vertebrae to the upper cervical spines of the upper cervical vertebrae. The semispinalis capitis is a long, thick muscle and produces longitudinal bulging of the neck on each side of the median furrow. Its medial border is free and is in contact with the ligamentum nuchae. The muscle is overlapped partially by the splenius capitis in the lower part. The semispinalis capitis arises from the transverse and articular process of lower cervical and upper thoracic vertebrae and is inserted into the medial part of the area between superior and inferior nuchal lines of the occipital bone. Sometimes the upper part of the muscle presents tendinous intersection. Next, we will see about the multifidus, that is the second group of muscle in the transversus spinalis. The multifidus, this diagram is showing the multifidus in the cervicothoracic region, and this diagram showing the multifidus in the lumbosacral region. The multifidus lies deep to the semispinalis and consists of short oblique bundles, each bundle being triangular in shape. The base is made up of many fascicles which passes upward and medially and converge to the spinous process as a single fasciculus like this from the transverse process to the spine. But when the muscle arises from the dorsal surface of the sacrum between its spinous and transverse crusts, then from the mammillary process in the lumbar region, then transverse process in the thoracic region, then articular process in the cervical region. The bundles crosses at least 3 to 5 vertebrae for its insertion, from the origin to insertion. They cross at least 3 to 5 vertebrae. The last and third group of the transversus spinalis is the rotatorus. Two parts are there. This is the rotatorus longus and this is the rotatorus brevis. They are the deepest group of, and they lie deep to the multifidus, and they cross only one vertebra from this vertebra, and they cross this vertebra and insert on here. They cross only one vertebra in contrast to the multifidus, which crosses 3 to 5 vertebrae. And they pass from the root of one transverse process to the root of the spinous process of the vertebra at its insertion. The rotatorus are best developed in the thoracic region.